Hello, my name is Daniel from the Code of Wisdom channel, and in today's video, we are going to talk about the extraordinary journey of the chosen ones. We will walk together from the very first moment of life, from the first breath, all the way to the moment when each chosen one begins to recognize their true spiritual calling. Throughout this content, you will understand how every person is called to a specific mission and how this reveals itself in very clear ways throughout life. The question that remains is this: are you prepared to realize that your story is not isolated, but part of something much greater, capable of completely changing the way you see the world and yourself? So keep watching carefully. I truly want to know if you have ever felt at any point in your life that there is a greater purpose guiding you. Leave that in the comments, because your experience matters. Also, take a moment to subscribe to the channel and follow content like this. And don't forget to comment where you're watching from so we can build an even stronger connection. From the moment you took your first breath, something unseen was already at work. A higher force, far beyond human understanding, had already set you apart for something special. It does not matter how your birth happened, nor the place where you came into the world. What truly matters is that your existence already carried a divine purpose long before you became aware of it. Many people believe that everything begins at birth, but the chosen ones know, even without being able to explain it, that the spiritual journey begins before that. Your soul was carefully prepared to live exactly this moment of your life. Nothing happened by chance, absolutely nothing. The place where you were born, the people around you, the first words you heard, everything was part of a greater plan. You were chosen by God, and from the very first moment of life, there was already a unique path laid out for you. Many people go through their entire lives without realizing this truth, but the chosen ones always feel that there is something different within them. A constant restlessness, a deep sense that life cannot be limited to what the eyes can see. From your first breath, you carried an invisible spiritual mark. This calling is what makes you question more, seek answers, and feel different from other people. Even if you were not aware of it at the beginning, everything you have faced up to now has been part of a preparation. From birth, a sacred force has been guiding you, protecting you, and silently leading you toward the moment when you would begin to awaken to your true mission. And that moment is drawing closer and closer. Every breath you take has meaning. Perhaps you were called even before you were born, chosen to live something that goes far beyond an ordinary life. With every heartbeat, you move closer to the destiny that was prepared for you. It is no coincidence that you are listening to these words right now. Something within you recognizes that this message speaks directly to your essence. But the path of the chosen ones is never simple. From the beginning, life has presented challenges, not as punishments, but as training. Every difficulty, every phase of confusion, every moment when you felt lost had a reason. The struggles you faced served to strengthen your soul, make you more aware, and bring you closer to the purpose for which you came into this world. You were called from birth. And now, little by little, you are beginning to remember who you truly are and the strength that has always existed within you. And this is only the beginning of the journey. From a very early age, you already felt that you were not like the others. Perhaps it was hard to explain, but the feeling was always there. While other children seemed to live without many questions, you showed a different sensitivity. The way you felt, thought, and observed the world had an uncommon depth. In many moments, this may have made you feel out of place, but this was not a mistake. The chosen ones are spiritually touched from the earliest years of life. Do you remember those moments of solitude, when it felt like no one truly understood you? That happened because, even without knowing it, you were already connected to something greater. Your spirit already recognized that there was a special mission reserved for you. The feeling of not fully fitting in, of searching for answers that no one else seemed to want to find, was a clear sign of the calling that pulsed within you. From childhood, the chosen ones have a connection to what cannot be seen. While many followed the common path, you felt curiosity about deeper things. Perhaps you spent long moments in silence, reflecting, observing, trying to understand life. And even in those moments, you were not alone. A spiritual presence was always by your side, guiding and protecting you, preparing your soul for future challenges. You may remember situations in which something seemed to lead you, steering you away from danger or placing you on unlikely paths. And when you look back now, you realize that none of this was random. Every event, every person who crossed your path was part of a spiritual preparation. Even without understanding it at the time, your childhood was a period of silent formation. Many chosen ones report unusual experiences during childhood. Intense dreams, strange sensations, strong intuitions, or the feeling of knowing things before they happened. These experiences are common because from an early age, the soul of the chosen one is already aligned with the divine. It does not matter if no one believed you or if you kept all of this to yourself in silence. What matters most is understanding that these experiences were part of your awakening. In the moments when you felt strange, confused, or out of place, it was the universe calling you to recognize who you truly are. Perhaps you tried to adapt, to act like others, to follow the common path. But something within you always resisted. This is the destiny of the chosen ones, not to follow the crowd, but to walk their own road. From early on, the signs were already there, showing that something special was reserved for you. The chosen ones have always been protected by a higher force. You may not realize it immediately, but when you reflect, you will see moments when something inexplicable protected you. An accident avoided, unexpected help, a strange peace in the middle of chaos. All of these are signs of the divine presence that has accompanied you since childhood. These experiences were part of your preparation. Even without knowing it, you were being shaped to fulfill a greater mission. Every intense emotion, every feeling of isolation, and every unanswered question was part of something much bigger. And then there comes a moment in the life of every chosen one when this weight begins to become more evident. For many, this happens during adolescence, a phase marked by doubts, internal conflicts, and deep questioning. That feeling of being different, which was once subtle, becomes impossible to ignore. It is during this period that the calling begins to manifest with greater strength. Perhaps you remember moments in your life when you felt as if something invisible was guiding you. Situations in which it seemed that a silent force was steering you away from danger or leading you down paths that at first glance made no sense at all. And when you look back today, you begin to realize that none of it was random. Everything had a purpose. Nothing you lived through was wasted. Every situation you faced, every person who entered your life, was part of a spiritual preparation that was taking place without you even realizing it. It was as if the universe itself was slowly shaping who you would become, preparing you for something far greater than what you could understand in childhood. At that stage of life, you did not yet have clarity about what all of it meant. But as time passed, those experiences began to make more sense. Many chosen ones say that when they were children, they lived through situations that others would call strange, unusual, or even supernatural. Perhaps you had very vivid dreams that seemed to carry messages, or that feeling of knowing something was going to happen before it actually did. Small perceptions, strong intuitions, feelings that were difficult to explain. These experiences are common among the chosen ones, because from an early age, their souls are already connected to the divine, even if the mind does not yet understand it. It does not matter if, at that time, no one believed what you felt, or if you chose to keep everything inside yourself. What matters most is understanding that these experiences were part of your spiritual awakening. In the moments when you felt different, out of place, or confused, when it seemed that the world around you did not make sense, it was the universe calling you. It was a silent invitation for you to begin recognizing who you truly are. Perhaps you tried to adapt, to fit in, to act like the people around you. But no matter how hard you tried, there was always something inside you that resisted. This is a characteristic of the chosen ones. They were not made to follow the common path, but to walk a journey of their own. From childhood, these signs were already appearing, showing that something special was reserved for you. The chosen ones are protected from an early age by a higher force. Even if you do not remember everything clearly, if you stop and reflect, you will realize that there were moments when something out of the ordinary happened to protect you. Situations in which, somehow, you escaped something bad without knowing exactly how. It may have been an accident that never happened, unexpected help, a word spoken at exactly the right moment, or even a sense of peace that appeared in the middle of chaos. These are clear signs of the divine presence that has accompanied you since childhood, guiding your steps and preparing you for the mission that would come later. Now, looking back with greater maturity, you begin to understand that all of these signs were part of your spiritual training. Even without being aware of it, you were being prepared from an early age for the role you would carry as one of the chosen. Every intense emotion, every moment of solitude, every unanswered question was part of something greater. And that greater purpose is your divine mission, which began to be built long before you realized it. There comes a moment in the life of every chosen one when the weight of this journey begins to become more evident. For many, this period occurs during adolescence, a phase marked by deep changes, internal conflicts, and many unanswered questions. It is at this stage that the feeling of being different, which was once light and almost imperceptible, becomes impossible to ignore. The inner struggle begins with force, and the chosen ones feel this conflict far more intensely than most people. Perhaps you remember periods in your life when you looked around and felt that you did not fit in anywhere. While other teenagers seemed confident, certain about what they wanted and the path they were following, you found yourself surrounded by deep doubts. Questions arose within you, questions that no one around you seemed able to answer. Insecurity appeared, but at the same time, there was something inside you that knew those doubts were not random. They were part of a spiritual calling that was not yet fully clear to you. This is one of the greatest burdens of being chosen. Deep down, you always knew that your life would not follow the same script as most people. While many were concerned only with simple, temporary things, you found yourself thinking about the meaning of life, about who you truly were, and why it felt as though you were living a completely different journey. The expectations that society placed on you did not match what you felt inside. There was a constant conflict between trying to adapt to what was expected of you and an invisible force pushing you toward another path. You felt misunderstood and, in many moments, lost. But this inner battle had a reason. It was the universe's way of provoking you, making you question things, so that at the right time, you could find the answers. Adolescence is often a difficult period for the chosen ones, because it is precisely during this phase that spiritual awakening begins to grow stronger. Doubts increase, emotions become more intense, and everything seems confusing. Many chosen ones go through feelings of loneliness, isolation, and even a sense of not belonging. None of this happens by chance. These inner conflicts are part of spiritual growth. It is as if your soul were going through a process of transformation, being prepared to gradually align with the purpose that was destined for you. And at the same time this inner struggle is happening, many chosen ones begin to face challenges on the outside. Life seems to become heavier, problems arise more frequently, and relationships become harder to deal with. This is common for those who were set apart for something greater. The difficulties that appear during this phase function as tests, preparing you for future responsibilities. The universe never places something in front of you that you are not capable of facing, even if at that moment it is not easy to see. The pressure of being different, of carrying something so great within you, can feel overwhelming. Perhaps you felt that things did not flow for you the way they did for others, as if doors kept closing repeatedly. But this feeling of fighting against the world was actually a sign that the path prepared for you was unique. You were not called to follow the crowd or to live an ordinary life. This is a hard truth to accept, especially when you are still trying to understand who you truly are. While your friends were having fun, going to parties, or following what society expected, you felt a constant discomfort. Perhaps you tried to force yourself to fit in, to act like everyone else, but there was always that quiet voice inside you saying that this was not your path. And the more you tried to ignore that voice, the stronger it became, reminding you that your mission was different. The inner struggle of the chosen ones during adolescence is intense, but it has a purpose. Every doubt, every conflict, every tear shed was part of something greater. The universe was shaping you, preparing you for what was still to come. That feeling of not belonging and being lost was, in reality, your soul adjusting to the true path you were meant to follow. Even if at that time you could not understand it, that inner battle was the beginning of your spiritual awakening. It was as if the calling grew stronger and stronger, pushing you to recognize what you had always been, one of the chosen. Even when you tried to run from this truth, it remained present. And as difficult as that phase may have been, it was essential so that later on you could accept and assume your true identity. The transition into adulthood represents a decisive moment in the journey of the chosen ones. After an adolescence filled with doubts, inner conflicts, and feelings that were difficult to explain, there comes a phase in which everything begins to fall into place. What once seemed confusing, disconnected, and meaningless gradually starts to make sense. You begin to realize that everything you experienced up to that point did not happen by chance, but was part of something much greater than you were able to see at the time. The awakening that occurs at this stage of life is like a powerful light appearing in the middle of darkness. Suddenly, many things become clear. You understand that it was not only life that shaped you, but that an invisible force, a constant spiritual presence, has been with you since the beginning. It is during this period that many chosen ones feel a stronger calling, as if they are being invited to seek something higher, something that goes beyond the ordinary concerns of daily life. Perhaps you have already noticed this within yourself. That inner voice that once spoke softly begins to express itself more strongly, demanding your attention. It is no longer possible to pretend you cannot hear it. Your spirit begins to awaken, and along with it comes a deeper understanding of who you truly are. Situations that once brought frustration and seemed to lead nowhere start to make sense. You realize that every difficulty you faced, every obstacle you overcame, was a form of preparation for what was to come. Spiritual awakening in adulthood comes with clarity. The doubts that troubled your mind in your youth begin to fade, giving way to an inner certainty. You were set apart for a unique mission. This process, however, is not always peaceful. For many chosen ones, adulthood brings even more pressure. Responsibilities increase, social demands intensify, and often even family expectations become sources of conflict. You feel as if you are being pulled in every direction, trying to fit into an ordinary routine, while something inside you resists. Deep down, you know that you were not made to live simply by following patterns. This creates a constant struggle between what the world expects from you and what your spirit asks of you. For the chosen ones, adulthood is precisely when the spiritual mission begins to reveal itself more clearly. Perhaps a strong desire has arisen within you to seek more meaning, more answers, and more purpose. This need to understand is part of your calling. You realize that you are not here merely to live an ordinary life. Your destiny goes far beyond simply following the rules imposed by the world. It is during this awakening that this truth begins to take root within you. Many chosen ones, upon reaching adulthood, begin to experience more intense spiritual events. Vivid dreams may appear, repeated signs may occur, or encounters with people who seem to arrive at exactly the right moment. None of this is a coincidence. These are clear signs of the universe calling you to recognize who you truly are and to accept the path that was traced for you from the beginning. But along with this awakening comes responsibility. From this point on, you can no longer deny your true nature. Life may continue to present distractions, difficulties, and even temptations to pull you away from your path, but your spirit has already awakened. The more you try to ignore this calling, the heavier it becomes. Awakening is a path with no return. After this, it is no longer possible to live unconsciously. Every step you take begins to be guided and protected by a greater force, and it is this same force that sustains you as you start to assume the role that was destined for you as one of the chosen. Adulthood also requires more conscious choices. While many people remain distracted by the illusions of modern life, you are called to look beyond the surface and perceive truths that few are able to see. Spiritual awakening brings clarity, but it can also bring loneliness. As you move forward, you may feel that you are growing distant from people who were once part of your daily life. This does not mean abandonment, but growth. It means you are being led to a higher spiritual level, one that not everyone is able to reach. Awakening can be frightening, but it is also liberating. When you recognize who you truly are, the bonds of the past begin to loosen. You understand that you are not here to please everyone, but to fulfill the purpose that God entrusted to you. And with this understanding comes a peace that nothing can take away. No matter how great the challenges ahead may be, you know that you have been guided since your very first breath. Your life has always had a destined path, and now, more than ever, you begin to walk consciously toward your divine mission. There comes a very important point in the lives of the chosen ones. It is the moment when divine purpose begins to appear clearly, leaving no room for doubt. After years of silent preparation, inner conflicts, and spiritual growth, you begin to understand that your life was never only about you. It has always been part of something much greater, a plan that goes beyond ordinary human understanding. At this stage, the question is no longer just who you are, but why you are here. This realization carries a great weight, but at the same time, it brings freedom. You understand that you were set apart for a special mission and that the time to act has arrived. Perhaps looking back, you feel that your life was marked by difficult tests, by challenges that seemed endless. Now, however, everything begins to fall into place. Every difficulty you overcame played an important role. Every frustration, every loss, and every tear had a purpose. All of it was used as a tool to shape you for this specific moment. And there is a fundamental truth you need to recognize. At no point were you ever alone on this journey. God was always by your side, guiding your steps, even when you were unable to perceive it. Your purpose did not arise by chance, nor is it the result of coincidence. It is a divine calling that has always lived within you, waiting for the right moment to be revealed. Now that you are beginning to see this truth, the next step is to take on the role that was prepared for you. Being chosen is not just something symbolic or spiritual. It is a real responsibility that requires action. The world needs what you carry. Your light, your knowledge, and your gifts are part of the divine plan to transform everything around you. And there is something many chosen ones take time to understand. Your purpose is not only in the future, it is already happening now. Every action you take, even those that seem small, contributes to this greater plan. That is why the call to action is so important. At this moment, more than ever, you are invited to align your choices with the purpose you were given. This may mean leaving some things behind. Certain habits, relationships, or old ways of thinking may no longer make sense. As a chosen one, you can no longer hold on to what does not contribute to your spiritual growth. The path ahead of you is clear, but it requires courage. Courage to be different, to move against the majority, and to face criticism and judgment from those who do not understand what you are experiencing. You were not chosen to please everyone. You were chosen to fulfill something greater, and that is what truly matters. Many chosen ones feel the pressure of being an example for others, and this weight can feel overwhelming. But it is important to remember that God did not place you in this position without preparation. He gave you exactly the strength and the gifts you need to fulfill your mission. At times you may doubt yourself and question whether you are truly capable of carrying this calling. This is part of the process. All chosen ones go through moments of insecurity, and it is precisely in these moments that faith must be strengthened. When you feel that you have no strength left, remember that divine strength has always lived within you. It was simply waiting for the right moment to be activated. Now your purpose begins to influence not only your life, but also the lives of those around you. You begin to notice that your presence, your words, and your actions have a greater impact than you once imagined. People may be drawn to you seeking guidance, support, or comfort, even without knowing why. This is a clear sign that your light is becoming more visible. Your purpose is to serve as a guide for those who are lost, helping them find a spiritual path. By doing so, you fulfill the plan that God designed for you from your very first breath. This does not mean the journey will be easy. On the contrary, the closer you get to fulfilling your purpose, the more challenges tend to arise. Often, the world resists the transformation that your mission brings. But there is something essential you must remember. Challenges are confirmation that you are on the right path. Every obstacle is an opportunity for growth and a sign that you are being prepared to fulfill your destiny. With every small victory, you move even closer to the complete fulfillment of your divine purpose. This is the moment to make conscious choices and to decide to live according to what you were called to be. The time for hesitation is over. Now is the time to act with confidence, knowing that you do not walk alone. Everything you need is already within you. The gifts you received, the experiences you lived, and the wisdom you gained over time are the tools that will help you fulfill your mission. Every step you take from now on brings you closer to this divine plan. Now that you understand the greatness of your journey, do not allow this truth to be ignored. You are chosen, and the world needs your light. The time to act has come. Use this moment to reflect on everything you have lived and how each experience prepared you to fulfill your purpose. Share in the comments how your awakening has been and where you are watching from. I truly enjoy getting to know each of you better. And if this message touched your heart, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and activate the notification bell to receive more content like this. Your journey is only beginning. I will be here with you at every step of the way. Let's grow together. May God bless you always, and I'll see you in the next video.